Alright, spoiler warning up top. This video will contain spoilers for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Gaming Cookie Guy
Entertainment.
So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is amazing. It is spectacular. It is nearly the ultimate Spider-Man movie. So why then did I leave the theater feeling like something was missing? And no, it's not because this was a part one of two. I knew that going in. I knew this would be a part one, and yet still it felt like something was just a little off. And it helped on repeat viewings. I did see this for a second time, and it was still there. It wasn't as prevalent, but I just still had this nagging doubt in my mind, and I just had to dive into it and address it for my own sake. Miles is trapped in the universe of Miguel O'Hara and must find a way back so that he can do the third movie, so that he can save his father. That is functionally what this movie is about, although it doesn't spend a lot of time doing that. And so this is my pitch, not for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but for my revised Spider-Man Escape the Spider-Verse. And, I think that works. It's like you go into the Spider-Verse, you escape the Spider-Verse, then you go beyond the Spider-Verse. I think it still works within the context of the naming conventions of the trilogy. Just real quick, I want to give my usual disclaimer. This is just my version of events, my universe, if you will. If you enjoy the original movie, I get it. It's a really, really good movie. I liked it a lot too. This is just some small things that maybe I would have wanted to see in it. So functionally, what my version is going to seek to do is just to tighten things up a bit, get us into Miguel's universe quicker so we can focus more time there, and it can feel more like a satisfying conclusion when Miles escapes that universe. We're going to do that functionally in the beginning, just maybe have a little bit of shorter Gwen sequence, shorter Vulture fight, tighten that up just a little bit. Then we get into the guidance counselor scene. Again, just tighten things up a little bit. Maybe don't go into the guidance counselor. I don't have great ideas for that. Just cut some edges there. The first thing I'd like to do, which I don't know, I thought it was odd how they did in the movie. Like, I get it, but also I don't really get it. Gwen does not go to see Miles in his universe. She is on a mission. She knows what she has to do. She knows what is at stake. She's trying to separate her feelings from what her job is. And so Miles just finds her on the way to get cakes. And also that's probably a better reason for why he's late. Yeah, he's fighting some villains, but it seems like he was genuinely just being lazy and not getting to the cake place on time and rambling for too long. This would give him a more realistic reason of why he's late. He senses Gwen in his universe. She's on her mission, and he tracks her down. Gwen is, of course, caught off guard. She wasn't really planning on seeing Miles. Of course, she's happy, and she has to now lie to him and say, yeah, she was just on her way to come see him. Have a little bit of that nervous, awkward teen love energy in there. And then, of course, we get our whole swinging through the city. We get our beautiful under New York shots upside down, all that swinging, all that banter, some exposition. We can have it all here before Miles invites her to go to the party with him, where he's going to be very much in trouble because he has not showed up yet. Of course, they enter through Miles's room so that she can put on a sweater to cover her costume or whatever, and ruin Miles's collectible. Everything from here, from Rio's conversation with Miles, to going to Mumbattan, to Miles disrupting the Canon event, that can all stay the same. We're going to fast forward to the end of Miles disrupting the Canon event, and Miguel is the one who shows up to resolve things, to fix the anomaly. And he orders Gwen and everyone to go back into his universe. He will deal with them later. This is where I kind of want Miles to take a little bit more of an active role in the story. He had a lot of things told to him at this point by Miguel. Yes, it's probably a cleaner way to do things, and it's definitely easier for the audience. But I like giving Miles more agency here as he is escorted through the Spider-Verse, through Miguel's universe and the Spider HQ by Gwen. He gets more and more suspicious of the activities as it becomes more and more obvious that Gwen has been lying to him about certain things. And so he can go explore on his own, maybe run into Peter B. Parker. Not a great idea of how things are going to work here, but he will discover the web, the interweb of fate and destiny. And actually, yeah, I think this would be a really good time for Peter B to step in, as Miles is, yes, piecing things together on his own, but for Peter to come in and finish that explanation, have him be the one to confirm Miles's suspicion that his father's death is probably going to be a canon event. And that's when Miguel shows back up. He has wrapped up whatever he had to do in Mumbattan. He is back right at the worst possible moment. Of course, dramatic tension and all that. He is back, and Miles bolts for it. So now we're a little quicker into the premise of this movie. Miles needs to escape the Spider-Verse. He is going to try and save his father. He is on the run. The big action chase ensues. Love that in the original movie. Don't want to touch a single thing about that. It's incredible, except for the end. We skip ahead, and Miguel, after giving his long speech about how he doesn't belong, how he was never even supposed to be Spider-Man, Miles kind of gives up a little bit. Miguel catches him, brings him back, and throws him in a futuristic prison cell. That's going to be the big change here. Miles does not escape yet. At this point, Gwen is also sent home for failing her mission using the Go Home machine. So we can occasionally cut back to her and what she's doing, how she's dealing with being thrust back into her previous universe. But the movie kind of shifts into a Prison Break movie. You know, we have some scenes dealing with Miles' self-doubt. Is he Spider-Man? Was he ever supposed to be Spider-Man? Does he belong here? He sees no other Miles Moraleses. Maybe they're all right. Maybe he wasn't supposed to be here. Maybe he should just let things happen. After those moments of self-doubt, we can have Peter, maybe his own mother's voice in his head. Something will come and remind him that no, he is Spider-Man. He deserves to be Spider-Man just as much as anyone else. Anyone can be under that mask. Why not him? And then Spider-Bite appears. Spider-Bite has been tapped into everything. She is fully tapped into Miguel's security system, all cameras throughout the whole universe. She knows what's going on more than any other character in here, and she is worried for Miles. She knows that Miguel thinks he is an anomaly, and Spider-Bite knows what Miguel does to anomalies. Maybe the single biggest change I want to make to this is a bit of Miguel's backstory and what he does, what his role is in this universe. He does fix anomalies. He does fix the canon. But the only way to fix the canon is to make sure it happens. So anytime a Spider-Man saves somebody that they are not supposed to save, he goes in and unsaves them. What was he doing in Mumbattan? He killed Captain Singh. And if you really want to make things darker, and by you, I mean you can give Miguel a new backstory where he is the first one to crack the multiverse. He discovers the web, he discovers canon events, and he disregards them. He sees an upcoming canon event where his daughter is supposed to die, and he refuses to let that happen. He saves her, and his universe begins crumbling, and he has to take it upon himself to kill his own daughter. They would never do that in an animated Spider-Man movie, but how cool would that be? Okay, so cutting back to Spider-Bite. She reveals all this information to Miles. He now has to protect his father not only from the Spot, but if he saves him from the Spot, he has to save him now from Miguel O'Hara. trying to correct the canon potentially. So Miles is overwhelmed with all this, and now is when he chooses to fully use his new power of absorbing electricity and shooting it back. This is where he will disable the entire prison by accident. And we have a fun little prison break. We can have a lot of fun with the villains. You know, they showed some of their rogues gallery, but it would just be very cool to see the whole spider armory fighting this whole rogues gallery from all these different universes. We could have another fun splash scene here. Amidst all this chaos, Miles is able to get to the Go Home machine. Spider-Bite initiates it, and just after Miles is able to use it, Miguel smashes through the Go Home machine spider. The machine is destroyed, but Miguel has escaped. The purpose of the movie has been fulfilled. He did it. Now, again, I like the end of this movie. I like this whole movie, but I do think after Miles gets to Universe 42, the movie should end a little sooner. We spend a long time on that reveal. And so I just want to cut it a little bit shorter. Here's my version of that. So we still have the scene with Gwen. She gets the universe hopping watch from Spider-Punk. She can look at it, see a lot of activity going to Miles's universe. Like every agent is making a beeline for that, or at least Scarlet Spider, Spider-Woman, and Spider-Man 2099. They all jumped there, so she is also going to assume Miles is there and make a jump for it. And she hangs out outside Miles' room, just like in the original, after taking out Scarlet Spider. And now this is a callback that I swore they were going to use in the movie. I was begging them to use this callback in the movie, and they didn't. So I have to put it in here. In fact, I can almost say, like, this is the reason I wanted to make this video, because I needed this callback in this movie. At the end of Miles's conversation with his mom, he's going to look over at his shelf, see the collectible still in its packaging. Gwen didn't open it. That is when he realizes he is in the wrong universe. Now, one thing I am going to cut that I wish I didn't have to, but I feel like it helps with pacing, is I am going to cut Uncle Aaron from this one, save him for the next one. I just feel like it's a lot of reveals in a row. It's, oh, okay, he escaped. Oh, no, he's in the wrong universe. Oh, Aaron's alive. Oh, no, alternate Miles is the Prowler. That's a lot of ending points that you just go back to back to back, and I feel like we need to streamline that just a little bit. And so after this reveal, Miles knows that he is in Universe 42. This is not his universe. He looks at the shelf. The collectible is still intact. He then glitches out and rushes out the window. He now gets to look upon a city with no Spider-Man. This city is in chaos, and he feels some responsibility. He took their Spider-Man by accident, but he did. And that is when he looks up with all that swelling in him, and he sees the mural of Jeff Morales, rest in power. An instant after that, the Prowler's theme from the first movie flares up. We see a flash behind him, not of Aaron Davis, but of Miles Morales in the braids with the whole Prowler getup. We see his face, so we know it's Miles. And the screen cuts to black. Now, yes, that is way more of a cliffhanger, but if you're going to do a part one, you might as well do a part one. You're going to leave us with a cliffhanger anyway. Might as well really leave us dangling there. And so that's my version of events. Again, they're very similar. It's a very well put together movie. I really don't like poking holes in it, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I just wanted to pitch a version that's maybe a little more tightened up. We get the satisfaction of Miles accomplishing his goal for this movie, which is going to be escape. We get the heightened threat of Miguel O'Hara. We get a little bit more of a competent Miles. He doesn't have everything spelled out for him. He also gets to go more on a journey of self-discovery. It's a little bit repeating the first one's arc, but it's also echoing what his mother told him in the beginning of this one. Don't let anyone tell you who you are. Don't let anyone tell you you don't belong. But again, those are just my thoughts on it, and I hope you enjoyed this version of events. If you didn't, subscribe so you can yell at me when I post the next one. Till then, I'll see you.